Alf, do we have a new product disaster on our hands?
Did we reinforce the takeoff ramp? No, we didn't have time. Oh, shit.
Well, some social media posts would say yes when it comes to 2025 Topps Chrome Baseball. Also going to talk about downtowns. Are downtowns doomed? But a channel announcement. Ever since 2025, I have been doing more long-form interview type stuff, and I've got a lot of hobbyist industry folks that have come on, and I really enjoy those. I get really good feedback on those conversations. More of a candid conversation type show, a lot of those are, because whether it's Jeff Wilson, whether it's Ty Wilson, whether it's Rob Veras, you don't necessarily get them going on other shows for interviews. They do their own content, of course, but kind of getting the real story from them, I'm going to work to do that. So I'm going to work to be the Joe Rogan of sports card content. That's what I'm going to work towards. We'll see if we can pull it off. But we've got a really nice lineup here to begin with, some hobby heavyweights. I did a community post announcing all the folks, but yeah, we've got some stuff in the hopper, and I'm really excited to collaborate more with these guys.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen.
Guys, speaking of collaborating, collaborate with the PSA promo code to get you $25 off your first submission over at PSA at the shipping and billing screen. If you're a first-time submitter, $25 off SCD25 code. Tell a friend if you've already used it. There's a lot of people out there using this code, and it's helping people save money. I follow an account called Break Comp Cards on Instagram, and they had a really good post here. It was either today or yesterday on IG, and it was talking about essentially 2025 Topps Chrome. Are you getting good value? Taking a poll, and they had about 200 votes or so, maybe more, and it was 92% no. And I looked at the comment section there. The comment section seemed to be pretty upset, as it does. Their opinion is that Topps Chrome 2025 baseball was overprinted. Basically, they just printed the heck out of this stuff, diluted the product down. And I want to talk more kind of, again, like we always do, let's look at this big picture. There's some huge chases in this. I'm pretty sure this is the product that had the gold patch for Ohtani. And so you've got, look, there's the potential to pull big cards out of this set. But one thing I really do worry about with Topps, with new product, especially as they take over football and basketball here soon with some of their high-end products and, Topps Chrome in general, so just everything, is that the products are going to be too top heavy on the value. So what I mean by that is, I don't really want to see vet autos. I don't need a 2025 Bobby Hebert patch auto. I love Bobby Hebert, my Saints, Jim Everett, or, any of these guys, kind of these guys that haven't played football in 20 years and maybe were semi-stars, but yeah, they've got, they're cheap to get autos for and to put in a product. And so that, a lot of times that's filler. That's what fills a lot of these new products, whether we're talking about Topps, Panini, or whoever. But I really hope that they focus on kind of curating that checklist and it not just being a lot of fluff in these products. Because for football, we just talked about this here recently. Tom Brady is going to be kind of the heavy that comes in on these chases. You just know that that's the way that it's going to work with his tie-ins with Topps and Fanatics. So whether or not the NFL draft class is good or not, Tom Brady will always be there to have something really nice, a really nice chase card at the top on the football side. Maybe LeBron James is the same for basketball. Maybe Topps Fanatics and Michael Rubin, they do something. They've done some work with him here recently. Maybe a few of the big cards in the checklist, they're LeBron James autos or something. And that is what that's what they dangle. They dangle that in front of you to try to get people getting into this product, the chasers. And so what that means, of course, is even if the draft class isn't that good, they're saved by kind of these vets, these legends that are there to put, a really cool card on the checklist. But here's the problem, and this is not an easy problem for Topps to solve: demand at all-time highs for trading cards. So what did we talk about literally in yesterday's video? With allocation, either the Tom Brady store gets more allocation and the smaller non-Tom Brady store, or whatever, just the non-athlete store, gets less, or they print more so that everybody can have some, so that all the breakers can have some, so that all the stores can have some. And so if that is what happens, where they decide to really crank up the printers, it's going to dilute everything down, and that really magnifies the breaking losses. Because think about that, breaking's huge. People want to open the new product. All the big breakers out there breaking it, it's just going to magnify more product out there, dilutes it all down. It means that there's going to be less of the highlight reel when we're looking at breakers and what they're doing. We just saw here, just today, I saw, Ken Golden and Logan Paul are doing a $10 million break together. This new product, they've got to be really careful with this. It's They're trying to, I know, maintain some sort of affordability by printing more of it, but you're just diluting it down and then everything is worthless. It's kind of that junk wax era, problem versus today's, a million parallel problem. This is not easy for Topps to be able to solve this. They're probably going to have to do it over a lot of different types of products. That might be what they have to do, as opposed to printing just more and more and more of the Topps Chrome type stuff or Topps Dynasty or whatever it's going to be. It's going to be really tricky, but I really worry about that as we move forward. Is just with new product, is it going to be really top heavy on the hit? So in the marketing, in the Topps marketing, it's going to be all about, hey, we're chasing this Tom Brady game used 1 of 1, blah, 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 whatever, the latest one of those, right? Well, that's what we're chasing, and that's how they're getting it sold. That's how on release day, it's who's going to find this Tom Brady card or this Arch Manning card when it comes out, and it's just kind of like right at the top of the food chain there. You got a lot, and then there's just no meat. There's not really a whole lot of substance at the bottom and the middle, and that's going to mean colossal losses on the breaking side, opening new product, and that sort of thing. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But Break Comp Cards and IG, they take a look at these new products and analyze them. They also try to provide some transparency with pricing with breakers. So if you are someone that takes part in breaks, I'm not one, but if you are somebody and you're trying to figure out like who's offering a good price, then that could be an opportunity to see like, okay, Break Comp Cards will give you some sort of an idea, a comparison of where everybody stands on a particular product at a given time. All right, let's talk about downtowns. And this has gotten some coverage here over the last few months where it's like, are these rare? And the answer is no, they're not really rare. It's kind of like the case hit that keeps on getting marketed as the case hit and, oh, it's a downtown, it's rare. But we're kind of seeing that they're not very rare. But here's where the real problem lies. And I think that this might be the most vulnerable card. Downtowns and Kabooms might be the most vulnerable cards as far as ultra modern goes in the entire hobby, because we talked about repacks, the rise of repacks. Repackers are not just buying anything. They're not. But all of them are buying Kabooms and Downtowns. So if we talk about like the secondary market being propped up by a repack product or a lot of different repack products, there's a couple different types of cards that are firmly in that boat, and it is Kabooms and Downtown. So these are cards, just my opinion, these are not cards that I would be holding long-term at all. To me, this is a now thing. Now, actually, let me throw in a caveat there. If we're talking about green or gold or some of those low-numbered Kabooms or Downtowns, the black, versions, there's numbered versions, then maybe those are okay. Maybe those kind of hold up. But the stuff that is not numbered, that is a Kaboom or a Downtown, outside of like original type stuff going back to 2013 when they came out on the basketball side, I think that stuff is really, really vulnerable. Now, maybe you could argue, well, that's a Panini product. They're not going to be making licensed versions of those anymore. I mean, will they continue to make unlicensed Kabooms and Downtowns? Ugh, I don't know if I would touch that with a 10-foot pole, but I think that is just something that I was thinking about when we're talking about repacks really being so damn popular in today's hobby. That is the type of card that repackers are all over all the time. So they're just cycled around. That is like the ultimate flip card. I don't know a lot of Downtown and Kaboom collectors, but I do know a lot of flippers that are always looking to move those cards. They were there at the National, quite a bit of them in dealers' cases. So definitely a lot of flip action there. And maybe there are some people that are buying and holding. I think it was Brian Gray maybe that bought like an out of 10 Kaboom from Mahomes or something. And I think he's holding it. So I think that there's certain ones, numbered ones, but I'm just talking about the non-numbered stuff. Look out. I think that those could be the most vulnerable ultra-modern inserts, especially in today's hobby, just because the fad maybe is repacking a fad. Is that something that's going to be extremely popular this year? Last year, this year, is it going to be popular in a year or two? We don't know. Maybe it'll still be popular 5 years from now. Who knows? We're going to have to see how that plays out. Friends, those are the topics I wanted to tackle today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.